Hi everyone, my name is Kara and this is my first video. Another Asian American on YouTube. I've been wanting to start this channel for a long time now and haven't gotten around to it because I was just afraid that people would just have all this hate comment because YouTube is not very religious friendly, as you probably know. So I want this channel to be a mainly Buddhist channel aimed at helping you with your problems. Cliche. I know it sounds very life coach like, and I don't claim to be a professional or a member of the Sangha, a monk, or a lama. I only have my life experiences to go off on. And I've been a Buddhist pretty much my whole life. My parents were Buddhists even before I was born. So I've had a lot of experiences applying Buddhism into daily life. And I just want to share that with everyone. Look, I know this won't be everyone's cup of tea and I understand that. So right now I am going to give you 7 reasons why you should not be a Buddhist. Number 1, you just want to have fun. I think this applies to mostly a younger population here. When you're young, you just want to have fun. All that, YOLO, we only have tonight, who knows if we'll die tomorrow, so let's live life to the fullest. And often that means making unwise decisions. Now where was I? Yes, having fun. You should not be a Buddhist if you just want to have fun. Because Buddhism is not about fun. It's about self-discovery, improving yourself, and helping others. And oftentimes those things aren't fun. It can be very rewarding, but anything worth doing is hard. So don't be a Buddhist if you just want to have fun in life. Number 2, peace and or happiness is the end or your goal. So everyone wants happiness, everyone wants peace. I understand, I do too, but it's not the goal in Buddhism. I think many people think that it is because Zen Buddhism and meditation is such a trendy thing right now, and that's what people associate with Buddhism. But Buddhism is not just about that. You also need to prepare to face some serious issues within yourself, and sometimes that requires going through the hurricane in order to reach the eye of the storm where you want to be. Peace and happiness is a side effect of cultivation, or that improving yourself thing I was talking about. Peace and happiness comes naturally when you better yourself. Because if you just want peace and happiness, you don't even have to be a Buddhist to do that. You can just meditate. And meditation is pretty secular. You don't have to be a Buddhist to meditate. Yoga is a kind of meditation. Some people can argue. Number 3, because it is in. So what I mean by that is Buddhism is trendy right now, right? There are so many celebrities who are Buddhist, like Richard Gere, Uma Thurman, maybe Oprah. Sorry, Oprah. I can't believe I pronounced Oprah wrong. Oprah is pretty spiritual. Maybe she's not Buddhist, but it's very fashionable to be a Buddhist. If you want to be a Buddhist just to copy those celebrities, then you probably won't last very long as an actual Buddhist, because real Buddhism, the practice of Buddhism, is not very pretty. It's very cult-like. That's why some people are attracted to it, because of its exotic nature maybe, but it's not as what people imagine it to be. You should never do something just to copy someone else. You gotta know the reason why you want to do something. So if you want to be a Buddhist for yourself, then good on you. Number 4, exotic traditions. Buddhism is very different than a lot of the things in Western culture. So I think that's why a lot of Americans and a lot of Westerners are attracted to Buddhism, because it came from the East and it has a very whoa, totally different ways of thinking, you know, it's very mind-boggling. It sells itself in self-help books, ways to achieve happiness and ways to find inner strength, zen for your business. So people are attracted to its kind of a one-size-fits-all advertising, or even just exotic traditions. Like, picture what you think a Buddhist look like. Usually you picture a monk with shaved head and he's wearing a robe, lighting incense or knocking on some instruments, or meditating, doing some kind of kung fu or whatever. And I think that's what people are also fascinated by, is just how different these traditions are. There's a lot of appeal in ceremonies and robes, you know, and the chanting. I think a lot of Westerners are really into that. And sometimes they do all those rituals too, and they copy other Buddhists that they see. But without the proper introduction to Buddhism, people might go through those rituals for nothing pretty much, because they don't know what those rituals represent. And so if you're only into Buddhism because of its exoticness or its ceremonies and traditions and rituals, then I'm sorry to say, but you probably shouldn't become a Buddhist. Number 5, if you are wanting to become a Buddhist to learn Chinese or another Asian language, it's usually an American who wants to learn, you know, Chinese, for example. And in order to learn Chinese, he wanted to study Buddhism, because Buddhism is a big part of Chinese culture, and he thought if he studied Buddhism, he would be able to learn some Chinese at the same time. Well, I know, you probably think this is silly, but it actually happens. And, well, let me just say, it's probably not the best way. You're probably better off getting a tutor or attending astral classes. And the Chinese and Buddhist scriptures are very deep. Like, imagine Shakespeare, but the Chinese equivalent of Shakespeare. It's incomprehensible. Then you say you can study just one sutra for a lifetime, because there are so many layers of meaning in them. And so that's probably not a good start for beginners who want to learn Chinese. You don't want to start with the Shakespearean version of Chinese. Number 6, to study it as a philosophy. Now, this is very important, and I'll tell you why. Many people think Buddhism is a philosophy, as in it is like a subject in school that you can study in college, for example, that you can major in. And so many people are interested in Buddhism because of its philosophy. Partly the reason why is it's very deep, like I mentioned about Buddhist scriptures and sutras. There's a lot to analyze, and many scholarly articles have been written on Buddhism. So some of those scholars want to become Buddhists because they're interested in its philosophies and they want to study it some more. But this is one mistake that everybody makes, no matter you're Asian, if you're American, Western, Eastern, doesn't matter. There's always someone who is very learned in the Buddhist scripture, but cultivation and application wise, and you know, in their daily life, not so great, because they only concentrate on getting the knowledge of Buddhism, but when it comes to, you know, bettering yourself, helping others, they don't have a clue because they just recite and they memorize and then they just ponder on these like huge philosophies like emptiness, karma. It's very fascinating and it makes you feel like you're gaining an insight into something. But that's only half of what Buddhism is all about. The other half is you need to actually apply what you know, or else there's no point at all in becoming a Buddhist if you're just going to read it off a book. Number 7, it is to blame everything on karma. So I don't know if how you guys understand karma, but most people think is, you know, what goes around comes around. That's karma. But I found that a lot of Buddhists, especially beginners, but also a lot of old-timer Buddhists, they blame everything on karma, like everything bad that happens to them on karma. And well, sometimes even good things too, because there's good and bad karma. And that's not exactly incorrect. It's just, it should not be the reason why you become a Buddhist, because you shouldn't blame your problems on anything else but yourself. Karma is created by yourself. So if you blame karma, you're pretty much blaming just an external force outside of yourself. I see a lot of people, they go, well, I just had a car accident today. It's probably my bad karma from my past life. Okay, well, yes, but also, what are you going to do about it? Blaming karma, although is probably true, it's from your bad karma, doesn't help with the situation. And it doesn't help you become a better person. Instead, it makes you probably complain more because you have something to blame it on instead of actually facing the reality yourself. So you got to have a correct understanding of karma before you become a Buddhist. And it's easy to get into that, okay, everything is karma, this is actually not my fault because it ought to happen this way. And I think that's one of the traps that a lot of people fall into, is that they become pretty passive because they think, okay, well, since my life is dictated by karma already, there's nothing I can do to change it. That's not true at all in Buddhism. You create your own karma. Karma creates you, but if you let karma dictate you, you won't be able to change. You can change the karma that you have. Yeah, I know, this is getting a little like, oh my gosh, this is so religious. But karma is a very important concept in Buddhism, and I think I'll leave this topic for the next video where I can dedicate it exclusively to karma. It is a very big subject. But in the meantime, you can take a look at this video right here. Just click on the lamp. It is a very well filmed, a very good explanation on what karma is, with a lot of really pretty sceneries from Southeast Asia. And so if you have maybe like 15 minutes to spare and want to learn more about, you know, the basic concept slash foundation of Buddhism that is called karma, then go ahead, click on this. It's only 15 minutes. So until my next video, I will see you soon. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe, and let me know on the comments below what you think about these 7 things. Do you think they're true? This is just from my experience, so it's not set in stone. And what your experience or your goal is to become a Buddhist, why you want to become a Buddhist, if not at all. And so, like, if you think this is, you know, pretty informative, or dislike if you don't. But don't dislike, please. So, okay. Thank you guys. Bye-bye.